Well, howdy, folks. Been a while since we've talked. Before Thanksgiving, you gads. How you been? Me? Aw, fine. Thanks for asking. I'm John Zidar, a.k.a. the StockWizard. This is On Top and Hot, where we like to focus in on hot penny stocks. That's because I'm a day trader, and that's what I primarily focus in on, options and stocks under $5. And I'm always looking for a hot penny stock to share with y'all so that we can all make some money on it. I'm nice that way. What I want to talk to you today about is ticker CBDW. This is 1606 Corporation. What caught my attention to this company was her chart. Her 4-hour chart has been flat, doing nothing for a very long time, and right now she is in an active 200 squeeze. You know what I mean by that. Her price is between a falling 200 MA and a climbing 200 haul, and when she gets on top of the 50, she normally launches to and through the 200. And if that 200 goes flat, she will just continue running. CBDW is an American company. She's based out of Arizona. She finished the day at 0014. She closed out at 55% up, which was 0005 up. It's not very much, but that was 55% gains. Now, this stock is on the OTC market. She's on the bottom tier, the OTC ID, which honestly is the riskiest tier that you can trade. Now, I love sharing penny stocks with you, and a penny stock is just a stock under $5, so they're on every single market. But I honestly prefer sharing stocks with you that are on the major exchange because they're just safer to trade. I've lost a lot of money down here on the OTC, and I'm just telling you, you've got to be cautious, especially down on the OTC ID. They break down the OTC into 3 categories: the best, the okay, and then not so good. They call it the ID, the QB, and the QX. The QX are where your best stocks are going to be. They've got all the filings like you have up on the major exchange. They have financials just like the major exchange. I mean, you look at these companies and wonder why they aren't on the major exchange. Well, a lot of them are there because it's cheaper, a lot cheaper to be on the OTC. I think it costs something like $100,000 a year to be on the NASDAQ and $500,000 a year to be on the New York Stock Exchange. It's just a few $1,000s to be on the OTC. Plus, you've got to have corporate offices in America just to get on the major exchange. There's lots of companies like L'Oreal, EasyJet, Nintendo, Budweiser. None of these companies have offices here in America. So even though they're big companies we know and trust, they're not on the major exchange. They're on the OTC. Then you've got the QB, which is where you start getting respectable. Your price has to be at least a penny. You have to have audited financials. You start giving us filings. Then you have the poor section, the OTC ID. It's kind of like the ghetto, but not everybody that lives in the ghetto in the poor area is a criminal. You can't paint them all like that, but I'm telling you, you've got to be very careful. So we're looking at CBDW, which is on the OTC ID. She has all the validated information you're probably going to get down here, over here. And we get this from the OTCmarkets.com website. This is a outside, unbiased third party doing this research for us. So this tells us we have some validated information. We have a company's verified profile, a transfer agent verified. This is good information to know. Look for it. Before you get into an OTC ID stock, a pink, make sure you got these 2 green ticks at least. We've also got independent directors listed here. On this site, when they list them here, it means they are serious about uplisting. And they are talking about that in their news presses, but normally this comes from a filing somewhere. But as I said, they are talking about it in their news press, and we're going to look at that. And they say they're a shell risk. Now, a shell company is okay. A shell company is a company that's on the market, hasn't got any business yet. They're looking to make an acquisition or a merger and start doing something. Up till that time, they're an opportunity waiting to happen. Shell risk means they're in business, but they're not reporting their revenues. That's not good. Anytime you're not reporting revenues, it's a bad thing. And down here on the OTC, you don't get audited financials. We get what they call disclosures. They are financials. They tell us how much money they made and how much they spent. But these are just tallies that the management's done, and they pass off to us. So really, down here on the OTC ID, what you need to focus in on is your management. Look at their reputations. That's the best due diligence you can do on any of these companies. In this case, shell risk, I think, has to do with the deal that they have in place right now. Whenever you make a deal down on the OTC and acquire assets, when money comes into you and your bank has something, they say, hey, look at that, revenues, and they count it as business. It really isn't business, but that's what they call it. So they've been classifying this as shell risk lately. And that's what we've got going on here. This company is in the midst of a deal right now. Now, when I first heard of this company, it was back in 2018, 2019, and 20. They were into CBDs. They were big, they were doing their thing, and then they just kind of disappeared, and I didn't pay any mind to them. Now, when I look at them, I don't see any mention of CBDs at all. This is what we're being told. 1606 Corporation stands at the forefront of technological innovation, particularly in AI chatbots. Our mission is to revolutionize customer service, addressing the most significant challenges faced by consumers in the digital marketplace. We are dedicated to transforming the IR industry through cutting-edge AI-centric solutions, ensuring a seamless and efficient customer experience. Centric, specialty, so it can relate to us. It can do its job by itself and understand what it is we're really after. It relates to us in a centric fashion. So that's what they are now about, is AI chatbots working with customer service in all sorts of different arenas because, well, any business can use customer service. And if you don't have to waste your personnel on that and you can get centric AI to do it, that could be very good for your business. So let's take a look at the news. Oh boy, I did have this all highlighted. I see none of it is highlighted now. Let me see if I refresh this. No highlights, but I know what I need to share with you. These three down here, voila, magic. These three pieces of news down here are old. These are from 2023, and all of them have to do with CBDs. And they were booming. Things were strong. They launched a direct-to-merchant campaign with the company CBD Singles. They just made a product distribution agreement with Surge Pays. The production to meet their CBD product demand was being met. That was all back in 2023, and then we have nothing for a whole year. This is May of 2023. Our next piece of news comes out in July of 2025. So we got over a year there of silence. And now when they come back, not a mention of CBDs. It is all about AI. Now the first piece of news here tells us that they are excited to report they are now on the OTC ID, which they think is a better place for them to be. I'm not quite sure where they've been for the last year if they think the OTC ID is a great place to be, but this is where they are at now. Now, they do tell us that they have always been in good standings. They have never had problems with their filings. They've never been to the expert market. They've just not been doing very well. CBDs, cannabis, it hasn't been real exciting over the last couple of years, but AI, that's a whole different story. That's where all the excitement is right now. So, leaving all of that behind and moving into the news. The company tells us here that they attended this 151st NIBA conference in Fort Lauderdale. And the whole point of this, they were hunting. They were looking for wabbits. They wanted to make a deal. 1606 Corporation is actively exploring for mergers and acquisitions. The NIBA attendance gives us a unique chance to connect with key players in the small cap and micro cap markets. They say if you're attending the NIBA conference and are interested in discussing potential partnerships, investment opportunities, or mergers or acquisitions, we welcome the chance to connect with you. So they were out there hunting, and guess what? They got a bite. Yes, they did. Right here, 1606 makes a deal with Sim Agro. Sim Agro is going to acquire this company. This company will become a subsidiary of the new company. The new company is called Sim Agro. The company is to purchase power assets for data centers. That's the way they start this, but they're doing more than that. Sim Agro has proven a record of power asset management. The new company is to provide energy for AI infrastructure and data centers. The company is thrilled to announce that it has signed an acquisition term sheet to be acquired by Sim Agro. Sim Agro has a first right of refusal contract to acquire a data center, capable warehouse, and power plant. After the acquisition, Sim Agro will become a publicly traded company under this ticker, CBDW. So what it is they're focusing on is not just getting data centers running on AI, but they want to have a power supply connected to it, completely separate from the grid. So when you buy this data center, AI data center, it already has an established power supply dedicated, captive, just to you. The power is not going to be coming from the grid. We don't have to worry about our supply, and they don't have to worry about their supply. So everybody is happy. Power is the lifeblood of data centers. The need for high quality, uninterrupted energy has never been more critical. The company also has first right of refusal on a contract to acquire a data center, capable warehouse, and a power plant, along with 100 acres of additional land with pending funding. So they've already got a piece of property they're looking at that they're going to put all of this up on. And they want to do more than just one. And there's a lot of information here about that. But when we talk about the pending funding, well, that runs us right into the next piece of news. The company receives up to $6 million invested commitment to acquire the power assets and advance the AI data center. So now we've got an entirely separate company coming in now, investing money into this company to help them along with this merger so that they can do everything that they want to do. Now, I think this is ideal. It's one thing to put up an AI data center, but they are going to need power. They're going to have to make a deal with somebody to get captive power, that dedicated supply, whether it be from hydrogen or a nuclear center or however they're going to do it. Solar power, wind power, I don't know, but they're not going to take it from the grid. When you bring it all together like that, I think it's an excellent opportunity, and I think it could be hot. And we are at the very early stages of it right now at a really, really good buy-in price. So let's go take a look at the relative volume for ticker CBDW. Over the last 30 days, she's been doing an average of about 13 million, which isn't bad. Isn't bad down here on the OTC at all. Today she did, let's call it 66 million. So you're looking at 4 or 5 times her normal volume. That's what we want to see, growth and attention. Share structure. That's average. You know, our outstanding share count, we got 334 million. Not bad, not good. I know we're getting spoiled with all these real low floats from all of these reverse stock splits from companies trying to survive. But this is average. That's what it normally is. 334 million outstanding. Insiders own 72 million, which gives us the rest of about 262 million. Checking all these dates over here to make sure that it's current. It is. So we don't have a low float. We have an average float, but hey, it's under $1 billion. So I'm not too bad with that. Our market cap for the company, what? Wow. So with 334 million shares multiplied by the price of 0014, that gives you a market cap of 300,000. Wow. Taking a look at our financials. Is this company making any money? Uh-oh. We don't have anything listed here. Nothing under the quarterlies or the annuals. Do we get a balance sheet? We don't even get a balance sheet. So let's run on over here to our disclosures and take a look at our 10Q. Look at this, folks. Lucky us. This is an OTC ID. So basically you've got an OTC pink, which is actually using 10Ks and 10Qs. This is excellent. This is something they have to volunteer for. They make themselves more transparent. They show us where all their money is going, who owns their shares, how much they're being paid. This is important information. And I didn't realize we had a 10Q here. So we've got a 10Q here that came out halfway through November. They tell us cash right now they're holding just under $1 million, which is down from 2024. That's about half of what they had. Our total liabilities is about $3 million. So it looks like we have total stockholder deficit just about $3 million. Yeah, so we are holding a little bit of deficit here. You know, the company is changing over from CBDs, which was not making them very much money. Matter of fact, looking at cost of goods and services, it doesn't look like they've been making any money. Not since way back. In 2024, they did have $7,000. Yep, no zeros here. $7,000 came in, and we haven't had any revenue since then, folks. So really, there's not a whole lot here to even consider when it comes to their financials. But that's not to say the 10Ks and the 10Qs aren't worthy of considering. That's where you're going to do your due diligence on this company. Forget about the news presses. Don't go over to Google. There's going to be gaps, right? Just dive into that. It is going to have all the information on the company from the day they incorporated. I don't know how far back that goes. I think 2011 or something like that. But you can get all the information. And if you want to make it easy, just put in the dates. If you want to see what happened in 2023, 2024, 2025, use your search bar and put in a date. That'll find things for you much quicker. And once you get used to reading this 10Q, all the other 10Qs are set up the same way. So you can find the information you're particularly looking for in the same place in all of theirs as well. Yeah, great way to do your due diligence. So we've got a couple of 8Ks over here we need to consider. 8Ks are material change. I always just poke my head into these just to see what's going on. Let's see here. The company today, December 3rd, filed a press release that they received $6 million from EPC Power Projects Limited to support the company's strategic growth and expansion plans. Woohoo! Somebody believes in the company. Here's another one. This one is from over a month ago, but we'll poke our head in just to see what's going on. Company put out a press release of an acquisition with Sim Agro, and we've already covered that as well. So there you go, folks. We've got a company here that it looks to be out of CBDs. If they are in it, it's not hurting them. But honestly, I think they are out of CBDs. Do a deep dive. You'll probably find they're just going to abandon that business, probably sold it off to somebody. Looks like they are strictly going to be involved now with their AI chats, their bots that they use for customer service, their AI data centers, compiling that with captive power, their dedicated supply for power that they're going to be getting from their new merger company, SimGrow. So we've got lots going on right now, lots of good reasons to be looking at this company. And the reason I found it was because of the chart. The chart is acting up. Literally, it's acting up. And that's what I want to see on the chart. Let me share what I found with you. So why don't we chart ticker CBDW on my free trading platform, Thinkorswim. This is 1606 Corporation's 1 year, 1 day chart. And as you can see, she's been in a downtrend the entire year. Not fast, not hard, but she has been falling. She was at about 2 cents roughly back here, and she's fallen all the way down to 0004 as our 52-week low. She did that at the end of October. Now, funny thing is, she had a wild rip here from 004 up to almost 4 cents. 3.7. That's almost 1,000% run on no news. No filings. Folks, this is on June 27th. Our first piece of news in 2025 came out the first week of July. This is still a few days away from that. So why is this running? Who knew what? I don't know. What I do know is she took off hard and fast, hitting that high, and then came down just as hard and fast, right back down to our 200 haul, dipped underneath it, going back into that downtrend, hitting that 52-week low of 0004, then coming back up off of that, up on top of our 50, and looking like she's ready to do something, right? We got some jumping and bumping going on here. Our 200 haul is turned up. Our 200 MA is still falling down, so we have a 200 squeeze. The price is right there in the middle. All we're looking for is for the price to get on top or above that 50-day MA, and there's a very strong probability this is going to run to and through that 200. We're down here at 0012, and our 200 is up there at 0039, almost 004. That would be a 300% run if we could get that. Looking at our 6-month, 4-hour chart, which is what caught my attention. It looks a lot like the yearly chart, but I zoomed in down here, and we have a full-fledged 200 squeeze happening right now. We had it right here, right? We had our price in between the rising 200 Hall and the falling 200 MA. It's on top of the 50. Bars are getting chunky and start bouncing around, and boom, to and through the 200. Now she came back down all the way down to our 200. She dipped underneath it, and now she's doing it again, folks. We still have our falling 200 and our rising 200 Hall, and there goes the price jumping from 0008 all the way up to 002. Wow, that's over 150% run there. She came back down and then jumped again to and through that 200. And she is in the midst of doing this right now. We have lots of volume in the picture still, and all of our oscillators are still warm. I'm not saying they're red hot, but there's a lot of activity, a lot of volume on this right now. Take a look at our 20-day 1 hour view. So now we've got a low 20 days ago of 0006. She made that run up to this high of 0029, which is almost 500% gain. You're going from 6 to 30, basically. Take away all them zeros. Make it easy. 6 to 30 almost. That is 500%. She then went sideways for a day, crashed all the way back down to our 200. She was suckling onto that like she was doing to the 200 Hall. She now has taken another crouch underneath like a cat does. It bends down just a few inches and then pounces, jumps up real high. Footage, right? And that's what we had here. She jumped from 0008 all the way up to 0022. You're looking at almost 300% jump there, and she has come back down. Folks, she likes to jump. I don't know if she's climbing. She's climbing slow, but boy, she likes to jump. Every few days, we're getting hundreds of percent rips out of this thing. So I'd wait for her to come back down to this 200, and I'd get in when she showed one green bar like these. I'd get in, and I'd take it for a ride. We don't have to go far to take gains, do we? No, we do not. So we have it coming back down to a rising 200 Hall. We have our 50 flat. Our 20 is right there with it. Nothing looks dangerous here. Everything looks really good. All of our oscillators are very warm. They're cooled off a bit. We had a couple of red bars here, but they're still warm. There's still lots of heat in the picture here. Let's come on down to our 5-day, 5-minute. Well, we have a low bubble here a couple days ago of 0007. Today we are at 002. Goodness gracious, folks, right there is your 300% run. Again, she's come down to our dynamic duo. I call this our dynamic duo, the 50 and the 200 Hall. Add those together. 50 and 200 is a 250. That's really the support you've got here. It's not just one, it's two, right? So this normally hangs on to something that breaks the 20. CR20, she came underneath that. It's even rolling down now, which is a bit scary. When your 20 rolls down, think of it as a steering wheel. The price normally follows the 20, and the 20 is the first to show the signs of going down. Then the price starts to follow. Right here, she started to turn right there, and our price jumped on that bandwagon. Tried to hang on to our dynamic duo here, but our 20 is still turned, still falling down. So I'm of the mind this is going to come down probably at least to the 200 MA here. Could come down underneath like a cat and crouch and pounce again. So we're going to look for that. Don't abandon this when it comes underneath the 200. She likes to get a good running start for that run up over the 200, and she normally does that from underneath the 200. But remember, you've got to wait for all these MAs, our 200 Hall, 50 and 20, to roll down and back up. She won't start climbing until they're climbing. Then all of it will come up together like a current. So everything right now is still warm, has a lot of volatility and activity. We're getting lots of big bounces out of it, so you can take gains every other day or so. So I think it's worth putting on your watch list, but I think we want to watch this for some bigger news coming out here from the merger, from acquisitions that they make, from whatever that this new company is going to be doing. That's going to be the news now. So I think CBDW deserves to be on your watch list. But of course, I did not do all the due diligence. Dive into that 10Q. See what you can learn. Remember, the more you know, the more you're going to grow. See you, folks.